There will be spoilers ahead for A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place, directed by John Krasinski, starring Emily Blunt, John Krasinski again, Millicent Simmonds, and Noah Jupe. In this film, we follow a family that has to remain 110% silent, because if they make any noise that is remotely loud, huge alien creatures will hunt them down and kill them. So basically the spiritual successor of 2020, as this film actually does take place in 2021. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, the first time I saw a trailer for A Quiet Place, I rolled my eyes. I thought to myself, wow, Hollywood is really running out of those ideas. I mean, I still think that, but at the time I viewed it as a ridiculously cheesy high-concept premise, and I'm sure channels like CinemaSins had a field day with this movie. Like, if something drops on the ground or gets knocked over, it will trigger these creatures. So why does the family hang framed pictures on the wall as they could easily fall down at some point? Or how are the creatures not constantly occupied with things like leaves rustling in the woods? Or why aren't the creatures always bashing into this waterfall? However, if it's a good story, these things are forgivable. In order to get the audience to disregard the lack of logic, you have to prioritize the things that truly matter. To start, John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, and Noah Jupe all learned ASL together for this movie. They brought on Millicent Simmonds, who is deaf in real life, to play Regan. When talking about choosing a deaf actress to play the role of Regan, John Krasinski said, "I wanted a guide through this experience. Having a deaf family, I didn't want to pretend. Bringing on an actor who is living with that disability every day adds another level of authenticity to the character and to the overall film." Millicent Simmonds was able to act as a collaborator on the project, giving her advice and sharing her experiences with her disability. Noah Jupe had even said Millicent Simmonds helped teach him ASL, starting with the alphabet. John Krasinski read the script just 3 weeks after having his second daughter with his co-star Emily Blunt, as the two of them are married in real life. You know, to add context. Overwhelmed with the feeling of needing to protect and care for his family, the script struck a chord with Krasinski, as one of the main reasons he was interested in the film was that at its heart the story is about parenting and protecting your family. In an interview with Talks at Google, John Krasinski spoke further about this, saying, "And I was actually living through what this family goes through. Not the creatures part, but trying to keep your kids safe and alive. And are you a good enough person to be her dad? All of that stuff is going through my head. So when I did do the rewrite, that's really where I focused. That I thought I could actually be the perfect person to do this because I was feeling so emotionally connected." Because of where he was at in his life, A Quiet Place was the best project Krasinski could have taken on at the time. He even considers this movie to be a love letter to his kids. When first playing Jim on the TV show The Office, John Krasinski received advice from the creator of The Office, Greg Daniels, which was, "Your job is not to deliver these lines funny, your job is to deliver these lines. Play the truth of the moment." John Krasinski claimed he used this advice when making A Quiet Place. So when it came to directing A Quiet Place, John Krasinski didn't try to make a scary movie, but set out to make a movie honestly. In this case, making a movie honestly meant focusing on the characters and the family drama first, while making things that should scare you secondary. A Quiet Place is a family drama first and a horror movie second, because once we care about the family, then and only then can we take a premise like this more seriously. Caring about the family subsequently adds to the film's tension and makes it scary, because we don't want anything to happen to them. When focusing on the technical aspect of the film, one of the reasons it excels is due to its simplicity. Every setup has a payoff. They don't waste time showing you things you don't need to see. Every piece of information you're given will play a role later on in the story, whether it's something really obvious like the nail or the lights flickering every time the monsters are near. A Quiet Place rewards you for paying attention. They also did an impressive job of familiarizing you enough with the layout of the farm in such a short time, making it easy to know where everyone was located during the chaos in the last half of the film. A Quiet Place fully fleshes out this concept of needing to be quiet by treating sound like the main character. A lot of the sound you hear is just an amplified version of what was recorded on set. I remember not being able to eat my popcorn in the theater because I didn't want to make a sound during the movie. The manipulation of silence makes you focus harder on what's happening. You're no longer just observing this family, you're there living it with them. The lack of spoken dialogue adds weight to each character interaction. They rely on nonverbal communication like ASL. well, making us take in more of their facial expressions and body language, allowing us to better connect with the characters. At the beginning of this video, I was discussing the film's lack of logic, but we should take a moment to talk about how A Quiet Place is full of incredible details that make sense within the world and add to the overall story. Like how Regan being deaf made it so the family had to know sign language before the alien invasion, thus adding to their chances of survival. The only ones who are left are farmers or people living in very isolated conditions somewhere in quiet rural America. Later in the film, we see that day 473 takes place on October 3rd. Once we do the math, we can see that the alien invasion started sometime around the 4th of July, explaining why they had fireworks on standby. I think my favorite detail will always be the fact that no one took a bag of chips from the grocery store. The point is, I could keep going on and on about the details. And I did, in a different video that you should definitely check out. Those are the reasons why I thought A Quiet Place worked. So yeah, thanks for watching.